Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Femalehood. I'm Triple Esther Eunice and midwife. Well, welcome back to yet an interesting topic that you're yet to learn of, and you wouldn't want to miss it for anything. Wow. So, femalehood, here we're discussing everything about the female, from the spiritual aspect, the physical aspect, the psychological aspect, the emotional aspect. Everything is discussed right here, and you get to learn a whole lot of things about the female side of God's creation, the glorious creation. And today we are discussing an interesting topic, as I said earlier, and this topic is the menstrual cycle. Not the menstrual period, as in the period, but everything. It's part of it. So we're discussing about the menstrual cycle, what's involved in the cycle. Like, it's a cycle. It's not a one thing. It's not like a 5-day thing. It's a cycle. What it's all about. So today you're going to learn about the phases of the menstrual cycle. We have the menstrual phase, we have the follicular phase, we have the ovulation phase. That one is quite interesting because you get to know about the fertile days and yes, the fertile days. So then you also have the luteal phase. You get to learn about what to eat during your period, what not to eat during your period, the importance of hygiene and the hygiene during a period. So there's a whole lot of stuff, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy. So get your sister, get your niece, get your daughter, get your wife to know, like, to subscribe to this channel and have a lot of information that they rightly need. So the menstrual cycle, what is it? This is a monthly series of changes a woman's body undergoes in preparation for a possible pregnancy. So this series of changes starts from puberty, like from the start of menses, menarche, until menopause. So it's a monthly series of changes the body undergoes in preparation for a possible pregnancy. So a cycle has an average of 28 days, but people fall in between 21 to 35 days. So, like, anything, and it varies from woman to woman. Some can have the 20-day cycle, some can have a 35-day cycle. That's how it is. And then there's another important one I need you to know, the LMP. This is the last menstrual period that is usually asked at the hospital or clinic when the female goes there. So what is the LMP? This is the last menstrual period. That is it's not the last day of your last menstrual period, it's the first day. If you started your menstrual period on the 22nd and finished on the 29th, it means your LMP is the 22nd. That's how it is. Okay, so let's get started with the menstrual cycle, and you're going to learn a lot of stuff that you didn't know about. So as I said earlier, the menstrual cycle is divided in 4 phases. We've got the menstrual phase, the menstrual phase, the follicular phase, the ovulation phase, and the luteal phase. So I'm going to start with the menstrual phase. This is a phase when you start your period. When you start your period, this is the menstrual phase. This is the start of a cycle. When you see your period, the cycle has begun. So if you start your period on the 22nd, this is the first day, like the first day of your phase. So if you start on the 22nd, it's up to the 7th. So on this average, like, we're taking the average cycle, the 28-day cycle. So the 28-day cycle, it has the menstrual phase has 7 days in it. So we start from day 1 up to day 7. This is we call the menstrual phase. This is when you see your period, from day 1 up to day 7. Others have got the 7 days, others have got the 3 days. So you fall in between these. So from day 1, when you start your period, up to the day 7, that's the menstrual phase. So here what happens is the egg which was released from the ovaries to the uterus doesn't get fertilized, and then there are hormones which were sent to maintain fertilized, like to maintain a fertilized egg, the hormones were sent to thicken the uterus lining so that a nutritious environment is created for the fertilized egg. So when the egg is not fertilized, it's dissolves there. The hormones which were sent to sustain pregnancy drop down, and so when they drop down, the uterus lining, which was built up, breaks off, it sheds off, and then this is what we see in the period. So the uterine tissue mucus comes off into what is known as the period. So that's what you see. You see the mucus, you see the blood, you see the uterine tissue. That's what usually sheds off in a period. So this is the phase in which you see your period, the menstrual phase. And then there are signs and symptoms in this phase. Like there are symptoms that you see in this phase. You're going to have like mass abdominal cramps. You're going to have a headache. Going to have breast tenderness or painful breast. You're going to have a backache, irritability. You're going to have emotional changes, like emotions, become emotionally somehow. That's how it is. So it's all in this phase. That's what usually happens. So you have a bloating, you feel so tired. So it's all this comes about because of the hormones which are reduced, the uterine lining which is shedding off, and all those things. You have all these symptoms because of all that's what is going on in your body. And then we have what is known as the follicular phase. The follicular phase, this usually starts when your menses, your period starts. This phase starts. So what happens with this phase is it starts together with your period. When you see your period, this phase, the follicular phase, also starts. This is when the ovaries release sacs which contain eggs, and then the healthiest of the egg matures. So when you're having a period, this process is also going on in your ovaries. And then when your uterine lining sheds off, another process of build up of the uterine lining starts. In this phase, the follicular phase, this is from day 1 up to about day 11. It starts from when you start your period up to the 11th day, like day 11. So this is what goes on in this period. The healthiest egg matures. The ovaries release sacs with the health, and then the sac with the healthiest eggs matures, like the healthiest eggs mature. And then the uterine lining is built up. It's being built up. It's built up to prepare for a fertilized egg. Remember, this whole process is in preparation for a possible pregnancy. So that's what happens in this follicular phase. It starts together with your period, and then your period ends, and then it continues up to day 11. And then from day 11, another phase starts, and this phase is really interesting because you get to learn a whole lot of stuff in this phase. So after the health egg matures, the uterine lining has been built in order to sustain an embryo. If fertilization takes place, then the next phase starts, and this phase is what we call as the ovulation phase. So this ovulation phase is a period from day 12 until about day 17. So ovulation usually is on the middle of your menstrual cycle. That is on the 14th. We're talking about an average menstrual cycle. So on the 14th, that's when ovulation starts, but it's given a period between the 12th and the 17th day. That's how it is. So what happens here? The healthiest egg, that healthiest egg which are matured, is released into the uterus and for fertilization. So when it's released on the 14th day, like on the middle of your cycle. That's when ovulation starts. An egg is released. And then how do you know that, okay, I'm ovulating, an egg has been released? You get to have signs like abdominal pain, what you call as ovulation pain. and then you get to have your body temperature increases. Like when you are seated, your body temperature increases by half degrees. So if your body temperature when you in the morning is usually between 35.5 or 36, at that moment it will be 36.5 or 36. That's how it goes. And then what else you see is you're going to see you're going to have light spotting, or you're going to see some dark red. Yeah, you have some spotting like dark red, because it will be dark red. And then you also have mucus. The type of mucus that you discharge from your vagina, it will be like the egg white, the raw egg white, and the consistency to just be like that. It would be a slippery. That's how it will be. And when not ovulating, your cervical mucus is thicker and dry. So you'll be able to see the difference with that. And then you also have breast tenderness or soreness during this period. You also have that. So and there are also other ways of detecting whether you're ovulating. Apart from this, if you want to go clinical, you can go to the clinical hospitals. There's some hospitals which can detect through either your blood or your urine if you are ovulating. So you can choose any of the ways which is easier for you. So the ovulation phase, this is the phase in which you can get pregnancy. Like this is when the egg, which is supposed to be fertilized, is released. This is that period. And then when the released egg, if it finds sperms, it gets fertilized. If it doesn't find sperms, it dies within 24 hours. So that's why we say it's a period from 12th out to 17th, because if you have sperms, like you plan to have pregnancy, and then from day 12, yeah, you will have like the sperms can stay 5 days, like for 5 days. So whenever the egg comes, it will find the sperm. So that's why we're giving it a 5-day period. When the sperm is there, the egg comes, it will find the sperm, yes, during that period. And then if you're avoiding pregnancy, this is the time to know that, okay, this time I can get pregnancy. So you try to, by all means, to avoid it. Okay, all right. So another point that I left about the signs of ovulation phase is that you have increased sexual desire. So I'm sure this is a way of a mother nature trying to reproduce, that like, yeah, trying to reproduce, because nature is it's usually all about reproducing. So that's just what happens. You have increased sexual desire in this phase. Yes. So if you're planning to have a pregnancy, you can plan on the pregnancy during this ovulation period, between 5 days to the ovulation day and a day after the ovulation. So there are a lot of factors that would affect ovulation. That is the release of an egg from the ovaries. You can still see the period at the end of the cycle or at the beginning of the cycle, but during the ovulation phase, there would be no ovulation in your cycle. There are a lot of factors such as age. As you are nearing the menopause age, you might have the period, but the egg wouldn't be released. Or when you're just starting your period, you may see the period, but then the egg wouldn't really have been released. And then there's also some conditions that affect ovulation, and this will have the weight. Too obese or too thin would also affect ovulation. And then also a hormonal birth control, the pills, the patches, the rings, all those prevent ovulation, as long as it's in the bloodstream, like the hormones, which are put in these hormonal pills are in the bloodstream, ovulation would be prevented. So we are now at the fourth phase, which is the ritual phase. This is the phase in which the sacs which contained eggs, the follicles which contained eggs, after the egg is released, they turn into the corpus luteum. So when the egg is released, these sacs after the egg has been released, they start releasing hormones in order to maintain or sustain the pregnancy if fertilization takes place. And then if fertilization doesn't take place, what happens is that those sacs stop producing their hormones, and then the uterus lining, because the uterus lining is supported by the hormones, the uterus lining sheds off into what is a period. So this phase is usually from day 18 up to the 20th day. So the luteal phase, this is when the hormones reduce, the uterus lining starts to shed off, and then the next phase, now the next cycle starts into the period, because the uterus lining has been shed off, the hormones have reduced, the uterus lining has been shed. So the luteal phase, this is when you have what we call premenstrual symptoms. These are symptoms that let you know that you're about to start your period in a few days or the next day, depending. So you have a breast tenderness or painful breasts, you get to have a bloating, you get to have a pain like abdominal pain, backache, you get to have nausea, you get to have headaches, you get to have pimples, you get to have fatigue, you get to have muscle pain. So all these symptoms, they happen when you're about to start your period. These are the ones we call the premenstrual symptoms. So I'm sure a whole lot of you, like, you know what usually happens to you, like what you usually see, what you usually know, that, oh, I have this pain, I'm sure I'm about to start my period. So this is where it starts, from the luteal phase, because of some hormonal changes and what happens in the uterus. So that's how it is. So for other people, it gets really worse and really bad, like they start with those symptoms and start their period without taking anything. So you have to know your body and know how your body responds, so you can buy over-the-counter medications such as Panadol or Brufen, diclofenac, mefenamic acid, whichever one works for you. You can get that and take it when you get to have those signs, because when the period starts, others, they get so bad such that this medication takes long for it to work. So get to know yourself and know when to take the medicine. Others even go to excess of using contraceptive pills for the menses, for the menstrual pain, and others use antidepressants for the mood swings that they experience, because others gets really worse. So you might not really need to take medication always. You can try to have your body adjusted either by exercising. You can exercise a lot in this phase, and it will help with the pain. Exercise, do some exercises, it really help. And then also the next part that we'll discuss on is what to eat and what not to eat in this period, because what you eat will either worsen the symptoms or reduce them or stop other symptoms from manifesting. So we're done with the phases of the menstrual cycle. I'm sure you got to learn about the period, the days of the period. You got to learn about the ovulation phase also, and a whole lot of other stuff. So now we get to go to what to eat and what not to eat during period, to worsen or to reduce or eliminate some of the symptoms that you would be experiencing. So we go to what not to eat. So avoid alcohol, avoid caffeinated drinks, avoid foods high with fat, avoid food high in salt content, avoid processed food, avoid refined foods, avoid dairy products. So these foods can either worsen the symptoms, the mood swings, they can worsen the bloating, they can worsen the abdominal cramps, they can worsen the headache if you take them when you're having your period. So avoid this food to reduce on those symptoms that you may have during your period. And then I'll take you through a few of what to eat during a period. You can eat you can eat chocolate, you can eat bananas, you can eat salmon fish, you can have tea, especially the green tea. It really helps. So porridge, watermelon, what grain like the brown breads, it's really good for your stomach. The bananas, so eat all such type of food. So avoid, you can eat a lot of others which doesn't contain what we said do not eat. So if you want to relieve some of the symptoms that you have during your period, so just watch your diet, watch what you eat during the period, and you thank me later. Wow. And then there are certain things that you need to not avoid when you see them with your cycle or with your period. If you have a longer than 35 or 45 days cycle, that one, see a healthy care provider. And then if you have a shorter cycle than 21 days, seek medical attention. And then the other thing is that when you have periods longer than 7 days, when you have severe pain which doesn't go away with mere over-the-counter medication, please see the medical personnel. And then also when you're in your the menopause days, and then probably you had gone for a year without a period, and then you start seeing the period again, that one should make you seek medical attention. So we've come to the end of today's topic presentation. I guess you've learned a whole lot of stuff. So it's very important that you know your cycle. Knowing your cycle will help you know your body health. It will also help you to know your safe days, your fertile days. It will help you detect when something is not right with your body. So you can start ticking, like you tick your cycle. You know the type of cycle you have. Like you have a 35 cycle, you have 21 day cycle. Just start ticking when your period starts up until your next period. That's how the whole cycle is. So you can tick when you see the first day you see your menses until the next day you see your menses. So that's how long your cycle is. So get to know your cycle. It really helps you a great deal in a number of ways. To have a great time. Thank you so much. So remember to subscribe to my channel, to share and to comment. In that way we'll know that you're getting a lot of information from here. Thank you.
There's an outpouring of abundance, new doors have been opened. The land, it is green. New grace has been released. The glory of the latter is greater than the former. The blessing is here. Oh, yeah. The glory of the latter is greater than the former. The blessing is here.